Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. So for this video, we're going to be making these cute booties here. So in my previous video, I made this baby blanket, and it's going to be a three-piece set because I did make a video for the blanket already, and I did say that I would be making a tutorial for the booties, and then eventually we'll do the hat as well. So this video is going to be to do these cute booties here. So if you haven't seen the video for the blanket, please go ahead and check out my channel so you can find the tutorial for the blanket. Yeah, so let's get started. Okay guys, so before we get started, make sure you have all of your materials with you. Everything that I need for this tutorial I have here. So I have two color yarns. The first one is this one, is loops and threads. It's called Snuggly Wuggly. 141 grams, is a lightweight number 3, and they're recommending a hook size number 4 millimeters, and the color is called Blue Yonder. You're not able to see it very well here, but I will put everything in the description box for you to have that information, as well as this navy blue color. Everything else is the same as this, except this is in a navy blue. Okay, the other thing I'll be using is these 4.25 millimeter crochet hook. So even though they're recommending a 4, I'm going to up it by 0.25 just to make it a little bit loose. I will also be needing 2 stitch markers, as you can see here, and a scissors to be able to cut my yarn at the end. Okay, all right, so let's get started. Okay guys, so to get this project started, the first thing we're going to do is a slip stitch. So this is how I do my slip stitch here. If you're new to crochet, I have some videos that will show you how to do these things a little bit slower. So go ahead and check those out, but this is how I do my slip stitch, and then I'm going to do a chain of 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I have my chain of 9 here. The reason I do a chain of 9 is because I'm making a booty that is for a 0 to 3 months old child. If you're looking to do, let's say 3 to 6 months, then you would add one more chain. If you're doing to do 6 to 9 months, you add one more chain. And if you're looking to do 9 to 12, then you add one more chain. Okay, so I have 9 here because it's from 0 to 3 months. Okay, so the next to start my first row, I'm going to do a half double crochet in the back of this second stitch from the hook. Okay, so I'm going to yarn over, and in the back I'm going to go ahead and do my half double crochet, and that's one, and I'm going to do 2 more in that same stitch. So this is my second half double crochet, and then my final half double crochet. Okay, now that I have my 3 half double crochet in the second loop from the hook, I am going to do half double crochet in the next 6 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one here. Okay guys, so I did my 6 half double crochets after the 3 in the same stitch, and now I have one more stitch to go, and this final stitch I'm going to do 6 half double crochets in the same stitch. Okay, and again you're still working in the back of the chain. So that's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, now we are done with one side here, and we're going to work on the opposite side. So you're going to tilt your work so that it's like this. Okay, and in the next 6 stitches we're going to do a half double crochet in each stitch. Okay, so we're going to start with this one right here. Oops. Okay, so I have completed my 6 half double crochets here, and then the next step is going to be to do 3 half double crochets in this space here which is the same space as the first 3 half double crochets that we did. Okay, so we're going to add 3 more to make it 6. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now just this is the end of the first row here. That's how our first row should look like. Now to go ahead and get our second row started, we're going to go and slip stitch in the first stitch of the previous row. Just right on top of that, we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to chain 1, and then in the next stitch, which is right here, we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. So 1, 2, and in the next stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. So 1, 2, and then in the next stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. So 1 and 2. Okay, so again, this is a project where you have to make sure you're paying attention, and there's a lot of counting, so don't lose concentration, or don't, you know, make sure you're paying attention. So we did 2 half double crochets in one stitch, 2 half double crochets in one stitch, 2 half double crochets in one stitch. So there's 6 of them all together here, and in the next 6 stitches we're going to do 1 half double crochet per stitch. Okay, so that's 1, and then in the next 6 stitches we're going to do 1 half double crochet, we're going to do 2 half double crochet per stitch until we have the next 6 stitches completed. So in this next stitch here, we're going to do 2 half double crochet in each stitch, and then move on to the next one. So 2 half double crochets in the next, okay, so that's 2, and then in the next we do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. So that's 3. Then in the next we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. That's 4, and then in the next we're going to do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. That's 5, and then we have 1 more, and we do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. So 1 and 2. And it's always good practice to go back and make sure you have your stitches done properly. So I did 2 half double crochets here, 2 half double crochets here, 2 half double crochets, 2 half double crochets, 2 half double crochets. Okay, so that makes it 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so make sure you're counting. So we have 12 stitches all together, but we put them in 6 stitches because we do 2 per stitch. And then for the next 6 stitches we're going to do a half double crochet per stitch. So that's 1, and then for the next 3 stitches we're going to do 2 half double crochets per stitch. So that's 2 here, and then we move on to the next stitch and we do 2 more half double crochets together. And then in the final we do 2 half double crochets together. Okay, so that completes our second row. So that's how our second row should look like. Looks like a little slipper. Okay, and then we're going to move on and we're going to do a slip stitch on top of the previous stitch that we completed. Okay, the first stitch we do a slip stitch like that, then we chain 1. Okay, and then in this next stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochet in this the next stitch together. So 1, 2, and then in the next stitch we're going to do 1 half double crochet, and then we move on to the next stitch and we do 2 half double crochet together, and then in the next stitch we're going to do 1 half double crochet, and then in the next stitch here we do 2 half double crochets together, and then we finish it off by doing one half double crochet. Okay, just like that. So again, just so it's not too confusing, so we started this row by doing 2 half double crochets together in one stitch, and then we did 1 half double crochet on its own. Then we moved on to the next stitch and did 2 half double crochets, and then we followed it by 1 half double crochet, then 2 half double crochets together, and then 1 half double crochet. Okay, and then now what we're going to do for the next 6 stitches, we're going to do a half double crochet per stitch. There you go. And then for the next stitch right here, we're going to do 2 half double crochets together. So 1, 2, and in the next stitch we're going to do 1 half double crochet, then move on to the next stitch where we'll do 2 half double crochets together, and then in the next stitch we have 1 half double crochet on its own. Okay, and then we'll move on to the next stitch and do 2 half double crochets together, and then move on to 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 half double crochets in the next stitch together, then 1 half double crochet on its own, and then 2 half double crochets together, then 1 half double crochet alone. And you want to make sure you have 6 sets here, and by sets I mean you do 2 half double crochets and 1 half double crochet, that's 1 set, and this is 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets, 5, and then we have 1 more, so we're doing a set of 6. Okay, so I have 1 more set to do, which is in the next stitch I do 2 half double crochets together, and then followed by 1 half double crochet on its own, like that. Okay, so this is how it should look like. And then for the next 6 stitches we're going to do a half double crochet per stitch, so that's 1, and then for these next stitches here we're going to do what we did on this side. We were just going to duplicate what we had on this side, which is in the next stitch here we're going to do 2 half double crochets together, and then 1 half double crochet on its own, so that's 1 set, and then 2 half double crochets together in the next stitch, and then 1 half double crochet on its own, that's 2 sets. And then I'm going to do my final set here, which is 2 half double crochets together in the same stitch, and then 1 half double crochet on its own. There you go, just like that. Okay, now if you look at your work, you should have something that looks like this. Okay, so it's a little bit wider on this end, it's a little bit wider on this end, in the middle it's thinner, and that's how your shoe sole should be looking like. Okay, so this is the sole of the booty. All right, so and then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch on top of the first double crochet, the half double crochet that we had from the previous row. So we're going to do a slip stitch right there. Okay, now this is 3 rows that we have done, and that's the end we're going to do on this color. And so we're going to get our scissors, and we're going to change colors at this point. Okay, because we want the sole to be a different color than the body of the booty. So we're going to cut these off here. Okay, and then we're going to bring in our navy blue color. Okay, and then we're going to start our different row here, and of course we're going to make sure we have our stitch markers ready as well, because this is the point where we'll be using our stitch markers. Okay, so to just get this yarn connected, I'm going to undo the slip stitch that I did on top here, just so I can connect the 2 colors. So there you go. So we'll have it like this, and I'll go in like I'm doing a slip stitch. So now that I have my 2 loops on the hook like that, then I can bring in the navy blue. So you just go ahead and bring in the navy blue like this. So you loop it in like that, and then you can pull the 2 colors like this. Okay, and then of course, oh, let's just pull that, and then you're going to do your chain 1, and I'm just going to make sure I pull these 2 colors tight so that they're not too loose. There you go. So I have that, and then I'm going to do I did my chain 1, and what I'm going to do here now is in the next stitch here I am going to do a half double crochet, but I'm going to go only in the back loop of it. Okay, so we're going to do our half double crochet in the next stitch but going in the back loop, and then we're going to do that for the next stitch as well, and we're going to count until we get to stitch number 12. So that's 2, 12. Okay, so I should have 12 stitches here, so I'm just gonna count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that my 12th stitch. I'm gonna do my 13th stitch, and then what I will do is I'll take my stitch marker and I'll put it between my 12th and 13th stitch right there, because I'm marking off the 12 first stitches. So I'm going to leave my stitch marker there, and I'm going to go ahead and continue to do my half double crochets in the back loop only for 24 stitches. Okay, so this one right after the stitch marker is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have our 24 stitches here from the last stitch marker, and I'm going to do my stitch number 25, so I can do put my stitch marker between 24 and 25. So we're going to put my stitch marker right there. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and do the remaining 12 half double crochet in the back loop until you complete this row. Okay, 11 and 12. Okay, so this is how the color change should look like so far. Okay, to start the next row, we're going to slip stitch on top of the previous half double crochet stitch. So just right here, we're going to do our slip stitch to connect our 4th row to the beginning of row number 5. Okay, now that we have the slip stitch there, we're going to do a chain 1, and then in the next stitch we're going to do a half double crochet, and we're going to do that for the next 12 stitches. Okay, so this is my 11th stitch here, and what I will do is I'll remove my stitch marker to be able to have to go into my 12th stitch. Okay, so we're just gonna set our stitch marker down, and then we're going to do our half double crochet in that stitch here. Okay, now I cannot put these in here yet because I need to start the next. So in this next stitch right here, we're going to do 2 half double crochet reduction. Okay, so this is how you do it. You yarn over, you go into the next stitch, yarn over, and then you're gonna go straight into the next stitch and do a yarn over, and you will end up having 4 loops on the hook like that, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all loops on the hook like that. So that we just did a reduction there, and then what I'll do is I'll take my stitch marker and put it back in between the reduction and the normal half double crochet there. Okay, now that I did one half double crochet reduction, in the next stitch I'm going to do a normal half double crochet, so just like that. in the next 2 stitches I'm going to do a reduction stitch, so which is yarn over, half 3 loops, yarn over, half 4 loops, yarn over, go through all 3, so that's a reduction stitch. And then in the next stitch we're going to do a normal half double crochet, just like that. Then in the next stitch we're going to reduce, just like that. Okay, and then in the next stitch we do a half double crochet, usual one, and then in the next stitch we do a reduction half double crochet stitch, just like that, and then we do another half double crochet stitch and then a reduction stitch. So we're just going to do this until we get to where the stitch marker is, right here. Okay, so I just did my regular half double crochet here after the reduction stitch, and now as you can see I have 2 stitches here, so I'm just going to remove my stitch marker so that I can do my reduction stitch in the next stitches here. So in this stitch I'm going to do a reduction stitch, just like that, and that completes my reduction there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start my regular half double crochets moving forward, and so I'm going to take my stitch marker and put it between the reduction half double crochet stitch and the normal half double crochet stitch right here. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and continue to do our regular half double crochet stitches until we complete this row. Okay, so I just did my final half double crochet here, so we have completed the row. As you can see, this is where the new row is going to start. Okay, and now that we're here, we're going to do a slip stitch on top of the half double crochet from the previous row, just right here. So we do a slip stitch to join the rows. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and do a chain 1. Okay, and then we're going to do half double crochet, regular half double crochet until we get to the stitch marker. When you get to the stitch marker, then we're going to go ahead and do our reduction there as well. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so I did my 11 half double crochets here, and my 12th one is where the stitch marker is. So I'm going to remove the stitch marker so I can do my final half double crochet there. Okay, and then for this next row of reduction, in the next stitch I'm going to do a normal half double crochet, and then of course I'm going to do my stitch marker between those 2 stitches just to mark it off. Okay, and in the next stitch we're going to do a reduction stitch, so I'm going to do my half double crochet reduction stitch, just like that. Okay, and then in the next stitch I'm going to do a normal half double crochet. Okay, and then in the next stitch I'm going to do my reduction stitch, and we're going to repeat this pattern until we get to the other stitch marker here. So go ahead and do that. When you get to just the stitch before the stitch marker, come back and I'll show you guys how to do the rest of it. Okay guys, so I have completed the reduction stitch here, so I'm going to take the stitch marker off so I can do my final regular half double crochet right there. Okay, so that's the end of the reduction stitch there, and now I'm going to do a normal half double crochet in the next stitch so I can mark my stitch marker back here. So I'm going to put it back right there. Okay, and then I'm going to continue to do my regular half double crochets until I get to the end of the row here. Okay guys, so I just completed this 3rd row of the navy blue color here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my slip stitch with the on top of the previous half double crochet that we completed, just like that. Okay, now if you just put your work down, you will start to see that it's creating that booty shape now. Okay, so this is where we're reducing. Eventually we'll kind of close these off, but we're still in the process of reducing it, so we're going to go ahead and continue there. So I'm going to do my chain one, and then I'm going to go ahead and do regular half double crochets in the next 12 stitches. Alright guys, so at the 11th stitch here, so I need to do my 12th stitch where the stitch marker is, so I need to remove my stitch marker and then go ahead and do my 12th half double crochet there. Okay, and now for the reduction stitches, I'm going to do my regular half double crochet in the next stitch here, and then put my stitch marker between that 13th and 12th stitch just to know where I need to have the reduction stitches start. And now that I have done my first half double crochet here, in the next two I'm going to do a reduction stitch, so just like that. Okay, so that's my reduction stitch there, and in the next stitch I'm going to do a regular half double crochet, and then in the next stitch I'm going to do my reduction stitches, just like that. Okay, and then in the next stitch I'm going to do a regular half double crochet, and then in the next stitch I'm going to do my reduction stitch. Okay, and then in the next stitch here I'm going to do my regular half double crochet, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to remove my stitch marker and then do my final half double crochet in that stitch, and then use my stitch marker to mark there so I know where to stop the reduction right there. Okay, and then for the next 12 stitches you're going to do regular half double crochets until you get to the end of the row, which is right on top here. So go ahead and do that and come back when you're done. Okay guys, so I completed the 4th row of the navy blue color. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a slip stitch on top of the first half double crochet from the previous row, just to connect the two sides together. Okay, now to start my 5th row of this navy blue color, I'm going to chain one, and then for the next 12 stitches we're going to do our regular half double crochet until you get to where the stitch marker is. Okay guys, so this is my 11th half double crochet here, and my 12th one is where the stitch marker is, so I'm going to remove my stitch marker so I can do my 12th half double crochet right there. Okay, and then for the next row here we're going to do 2 half double crochet. We're going to do a reduction stitch right away, so we're going to do 2 half double crochet together as a reduction. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my stitch marker and put it right back between those 2 stitches, and then in the next 2 stitches we're going to do a reduction stitch as well. So in this row here we're not alternating anymore, we're just doing a reduction stitch on every stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my half double crochet and then put my stitch marker there to mark where I finished off with the reduction stitch. And then for the next 11 stitches, because I have one here already, for the next 11 stitches you're going to just do regular half double crochets until you get to the end of the row, which is right up here. When you get here, come back and we'll start row 6 together. Okay guys, so I completed my sixth row here, and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch on top of the half double crochet from the previous row, just like that. Okay, and then again I do a chain one and then do half double crochets for the next 12 stitches until you get to the stitch marker. When you get to the stitch marker, come back and I'll show you what to do next. Okay guys, so I have my 11 stitches here from the beginning of the row, and my 12th stitch is where the stitch marker is. So I'm going to remove the stitch marker so I can do my 12 half double crochet. And then in the next stitches here, we're going to do our reduction stitches. There you go, there's one. So I'm not going to put my stitch marker back because we're pretty much done. And then in the next two stitches, we're going to do a final reduction stitch. So I'm going to remove this stitch marker as well. Okay, there you go. Okay, so the reduction stitches are done here. And then for the next 12 stitches, you're going to do your regular half double crochet stitches until you get to the end of the row, which is right up here. And then when you reach up here, come back and I will show you how to move on to the next row. So we're at the end of the sixth row here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a slip stitch on top of the previous row just to connect the two rows. Okay, and then I'm going to do a chain one. And then what you will do for this row, so as you can see, this is how the booty looks so far. Okay, so it's starting to get shape here. In most cases, if you don't want it to have a long boot like looking, you can stop here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 7 rows total going up this way. So I'm going to do the number, like the 7 numbers of rows, and then I'm going to stop. So I'm just going to show you the one that I have completed here. So this is pretty much the other booty that we're making. So far we have pretty much completed like half of it. So we have half of it done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 7 rows of this blue, but it's just literally half double crochets around the top of the boot. We're not doing any reduction or anything anymore. And then when I have my 7 stitches, my 7 rows in the blue, I'm going to add the blue color to do 2 more rows of that, just to add that nice effect like that. So this is what I'm going to do on here is I'm going to do 7 rows of this. When I get to row number 7, I will come back to show you guys how to change color to this baby blue and do 2 rows of those, and then we'll be done. Okay, so I will see you guys when you have the number of rows that you have to complete, and I'll come back to show you guys how to do the color. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay guys, so I have completed my 7th row here. So as you can see, we have built up the booty, so it's now a lot higher than where we started earlier. Okay, and so I'm going to change this color here to the blue, this baby blue color, so we can have the end of it done just like this one here. Okay, all right, so we're going to cut the navy blue color off. Just anywhere there. Don't waste your yarn by leaving a long strand unless you're planning to weave it in. But I'm not planning to weave it in, so I cut it really short so I don't have to waste too much yarn. And then we're going to go ahead and connect this color. Now, as you can see, I did not do my slip stitching because that's where we're going to be doing to be able to connect the colors. So I'm going to do, instead of completing a full slip stitch, I'm going to leave it like that so I can connect the the baby blue color like that. Okay, and now that I have that, I'm going to chain 1. Okay, just hold your strands on the other side like this, and then I'm going to do my half double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, sorry about the yarn and the hook making that squeaky sound. It's just when I use the hooks too long, it does make that sound sometimes. Anyway, so and then I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to do my half double crochets around the top of the boot here, on top of the booty. And I'm going to come all the way to here. When I get here, I slip stitch, and then I do another row. So as you can see here, I have 2 rows of this baby blue. So go ahead and do your 2 rows, and then when you're done your 2 rows, come back and we will pretty much go ahead and finish our project. Okay, so I'll see you guys after you've completed 2 rows of this baby blue color. Okay guys, so I have completed the second row of this baby blue color. So as you can see here, I have 1 more half double crochet to do in the final stitch here, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my final slip stitch on top of the previous row like that. Okay, so this is how it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my scissors and kind of cut these off. So if you are weaving in your work, make sure you're cutting your yarn long so you have enough to weave it in, but I don't, so I'm just gonna cut it like as short as I can so I don't waste too much yarn. And then what I'll do here is I'll just do a slip knot so I can close that off like that. Okay, so now if you look at it, this is how our little baby booty looks like. It's very cute. This is the second one that I did off camera here. So as you can see, these are the 2 cute booties here. Okay, now what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to go ahead and snip these off. So if you're weaving it in, go ahead and do that. This is your 2 booties here. Now the other way that you can dress these up is by folding the rim like this, so they look really super cute like that. Okay, or you can leave them long, so it depends. If you just want the baby to have it on and it's nice and small like that, you can, but if you want to pull it up so that it looks more like a sock and it's more like warm coverage, then you can do so. So as you can see here, this is the one we made together here. Okay, this is the one that I made previously, and this is the one that actually matches the hat and the blanket. Okay, and then I did one more set here that is a little bit bigger. So all this here is lightweight number 3 for the yarn, and this here is medium weight number 4. So as you can see, they come up a little bit bigger and a little bit chunkier, but they're still super cute. And you can also undo this like this so that it's you know, like it's open like this. So if you are going to make it for a little bit of an older child, like in terms of number of months, you're probably best off doing just using the same exact pattern, but then using a bigger and chunkier yarn, because it does come out bigger. As you can see here, this is how it looks like. These are much bigger than this. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching this. Like I said, there's a previous video that shows you how to do a baby blanket that matches with this, and in the next video I'm going to be doing a video on how to do the hat. So hopefully you guys will watch all of these together and be able to make a set as a gift for your loved ones, or to sell, or whatever it is that you want to make it for. Okay, so thank you so much you guys for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Okay, ciao ciao.